So let's think about what we know about summaries. We know that it needs to the main idea. We know it needs to have important details only. And we know that it needs to follow the text structure. Now, the text structure, this article was chronological. We could put it on a timeline. We see it in the 1930s. We go to 1937, 1939, 49, then all the way up until 1984. So I know that this was chronological. I know that my summary needs to have those three things. I know it needs to be connected to the main idea. It needs to have only important details, and I need to be able to put it on a timeline. Let's look at the answer choices. A, the International were a touring swing band made up of young women from different ethnic backgrounds. Although the band faced discrimination in the segregated South, the Sweethearts achieved success in the 1930s and 1940s. B, in 1937, a group of young female musicians formed a band that would become known as the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. The musicians such as the clarinet, the saxophone, the trombone, the trumpet, the bass, the guitar, and the piano. C, swing was an extremely popular kind of music played by many American bands during the 1930s and 40s. One of the most interesting and talented swing groups of this period was the International Sweethearts of Rhythm, a 17-member band from D. The International Sweethearts of Rhythm were a successful band that included African American, Chinese American, Mexican American, American Indian, and Puerto Rican members. Just a few years after the group was founded, were able to become a professional touring band. I want to make sure that I read all of the answer choices, because sometimes what happens is you see one answer choice and you think it's, and you don't read the rest of them, but you might be missing out on one that's even better. So now that I've read them all, I'm going to go back and I'm going to evaluate them. The first thing I like about A is that it starts with the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. I know that this article, that was the main, a couple reasons. That's the title of the article. And also when I look at my annotations, my who, most of them are the band. So the main idea was definitely about the success of the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. So already I like that. They were a touring swing band made up of young women from different ethnic backgrounds. That was a huge part of the article about what made them special, that they were made up of the different backgrounds, that they were women, that they were a swing band. That came up many times in the article. The band faced discrimination in the segregated South. The Sweethearts achieved success in the 1930s and 40s. That was an important part, that they were having some success, but then when they tried to go in the South, there was a problem. It's a pretty chunky area, as I like to say, in the article, so I know that it's an important detail. Something that's always going to be important when you're talking about somebody's journey, whatever kind of problems they had, because that was an important reason why this article was written. You know, something that made them special is that they overcame some kind of obstacle. So I like that, and the fact that they achieved success was important as well. Also, order. They came together, had some problems, and then they had success. So I like this summary so far. It does stop in 1940, but remember its important details. Down here, this extra information about the reunion, that's just interesting. We don't need to know that to understand. It was just the author saying, wondering what they're up to now, so we don't need that information. Okay, B. In 1937, a group of young female musicians that would become known as the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. Okay, good. I like International Sweethearts of Rhythm being formed in 1937. I got my timeline. I have the young female musicians. The musicians played instruments such as the clarinet, the saxophone, the bass, the guitar, and the piano. Oh my goodness. I don't need to know this. This is an important detail. I don't need to know all the instruments they played. That is definitely just interesting, not important. So I'm getting rid of that one. Swing was an extremely popular kind of music played by many Americans during the 1930s and 40s. Already, I do not like this answer choice because it's swing. Whole sentence, that's a wasted sentence in the summary just about the type of music. From reading the first sentence, I should know what the article is about. Nowhere in this sentence does it say International Sweethearts of Rhythm, so I don't like this so far. One of the most interesting and talented swing groups of this period was the International Sweethearts of Rhythm. Okay, there they are. A 17-member band from Mississippi. Okay, but that's all I know about them. I don't know anything about the fact that they were women, how they had some struggles and then some success. So I think there's not enough information about them, an idea. So I'm getting rid of that one too. The International Sweethearts of Rhythm were a successful band that included African American, Chinese American, Mexican American, American Indian, Puerto Rican members. Just like this one with the instruments. I don't need to know all of the different races they came from. That does not help me understand their success. They could have just said something like they were coming from different ethnic backgrounds. Usually summaries will be efficient, like they'll put all that information together, but they just listed all of these little interesting details. So I don't like it because of that. Just a few years after the group was founded, the Sweethearts were able to become a professional touring band. And then what? Okay, so this is also missing the struggles they had and then the success they had. So D is wrong. So after all, I do like letter choice. That was the best one because it was connected to the main idea about our band. It had those important details, why they were unique and their journey, what they went through. They had some problems and then they were successful, and it all fits on a timeline, which was the text structure of our article. The right answer is A.